Ever had a day that split your life into before and after? For me, that day started with a knock on my front door. And a small, trembling boy with a worn backpack. My daughter, my own blood, left her autistic son at my doorstep. And disappeared without a word. No goodbye. No explanation. No promise to return. 11 years later, when that same boy built a $3.2 million app, she came back. Not with love. But with a lawyer and fake papers. I'm Helen, I'm 69, and this is my story. Welcome to Mystery and Revenge. It was a crisp November evening in Minnesota. The kind of cold that sneaks past your coat and chills your bones. I was halfway through dinner, beef stew simmering on the stove, when the doorbell rang. Not a polite ding, not a neighborly knock, but a knock that made my heart drop. I opened the door to see Lacey, my daughter, standing there, lips tight, eyes distant. Beside her was Noah, my 5-year-old grandson, clutching a ripped backpack. His hands were pressed against his ears, rocking heel to toe, and tears had dried on his cheeks like stubborn paint. "Mom," Lacey said, voice hollow, "I need a break. Just for the weekend." Her words didn't reach me. She didn't hug him, didn't look at him, didn't say "I love you." Before I could respond, she turned, walked to her car, and left. Engine roaring, tail lights disappearing down the street. Noah kept rocking. Silent. Trembling. Alone. I knelt beside him. "Sweetheart, wanna come inside?" He didn't respond. I opened the door wider. He hesitated, then walked past me, still covering his ears. His backpack was too light, too empty, like a sign of what she left behind, abandonment. That night, he didn't eat. He didn't sleep. Just hummed a low, constant sound. I stayed outside his room, listening. I knew, deep down, that this weekend visit was no accident. This was permanent. Saturday morning, I tried calling Lacey. No answer. Voicemails piled up, but the line stayed silent. Noah sat at the kitchen table, staring at a plate of scrambled eggs like it was a puzzle he couldn't solve. He wouldn't speak, wouldn't look at me, just rocked in place. Monday, I took him to the pediatrician. One look, and the doctor said, he's autistic. Has he been evaluated? My throat tightened. His mother, she was supposed to handle that. Well, the doctor replied gently, you're handling it now. By that night, Lacey finally called. "Mom," her voice cracked. "I can't do it. I tried. He's too much. You're better off with him." Click. Line dead. I sank to the kitchen floor, overwhelmed. The oven beeped, cookies burning. I felt every ounce of my heart cracking. And then Noah appeared in the doorway. He didn't speak. He didn't cry. He picked up the yellow cup I had given him on that first night and placed it beside me. Just that simple gesture, and my heart steadied for the first time that night. It was a small act, but it spoke louder than words. The first few weeks were survival. Every day ran like a script I had to memorize. Same breakfast, same route to therapy, same bedtime. Any change, no matter how small, a different commercial, a different spoon, would send Noah into a meltdown. I learned quickly. Scrambled eggs, toast cut corner to corner, nothing touching. Therapy appointments at the same time, same route, same parking spot. I became an expert at watching instead of doing, anticipating his needs before he even tried to communicate them. Noah began to organize his world in ways I couldn't immediately understand. Toys lined up by color, then by size. Symbols in notebooks, endless circles, and lines. The therapists explained, he's tracking his environment. Let him. It helps him feel safe. And I did. I let him. It was exhausting, but something inside told me that patience and routine were the only tools I had to reach him. Spring arrived, and small victories began to appear. Noah spoke his first words in years, a single, hesitant mom. He didn't look at me, but his eyes held the question I had longed to hear. She said she couldn't handle it, I whispered. It's okay, baby. You're safe here. Noah nodded, went back to his notebook, and continued writing. His communication wasn't fluent, but it was growing. Sentence by sentence, symbol by symbol, he was creating his own language, teaching me to understand him as much as I was teaching him to trust me. Evenings became slightly easier. He began eating meals without pushing the plate away, sitting quietly at the table while I prepared my own dinner. Sometimes, I caught him glancing at me, just for a second. Progress was slow. But it was there. And for a mother who had just inherited her grandson in the middle of chaos, it was enough. By age 7, Noah's notebooks had evolved. Symbols became letters. Letters became short words: egg, toast, school. By 8, he was writing full sentences about daily routines, meals, and small observations about the world around him. I started noticing patterns. His games weren't random. Lines of cars, blocks, even scribbles in his notebooks followed logic, rules I couldn't decipher immediately. But there was method behind the madness. Therapists were amazed. Teachers were impressed. I realized, slowly, that Noah was gifted in a way that wasn't measured by conventional standards. He processed information differently. He saw the world in sequences, in data, in patterns, far beyond what I or anyone else could understand. Every day, he showed me that what others dismissed as too difficult was actually brilliance hidden under layers of misunderstanding. One crisp fall morning, I watched him sit at the kitchen table, writing in his notebook. The pencil moved rapidly, his eyes focused, almost piercing. I asked softly, "Noah, what are you writing?" He didn't answer at first. Then, in a voice small but deliberate, "Why did Mom leave?" The weight of those words crashed over me. 11 years of pain, frustration, and uncertainty distilled into that one question. I swallowed hard, trying to steady myself. "She couldn't handle it, sweetie. But I'm here. I'm not going anywhere." He nodded once, returned to writing, but this time, it was different. The sentences were longer. The thoughts clearer. The boy who barely spoke was now beginning to articulate his mind. That day, I realized Noah wasn't just surviving. He was learning to master his world on his terms. And the world had no idea what he was capable of. By the time Noah hit 10, it was impossible not to notice that he wasn't just smart, he was wired differently, in a way that left you speechless if you paid attention. He'd sit at my old clunky laptop, headphones clamped over his ears, coding little blocks like they were Lego pieces, clicking and typing with this quiet intensity that made the air feel heavy. I'd peek in, half expecting a meltdown, maybe a frustrated scream, but nope. He was laser-focused, completely locked into a world that only he seemed to see. And the craziest part? It wasn't just random typing. He was building structures, systems, little programs, almost like magic. You'd never know what he was making unless you understood his logic, which, honestly, took me weeks. Watching him, I realized something heavy. The kid who once couldn't handle scrambled eggs was now turning chaos into order, like he had some secret map of the universe tucked in his brain. And I couldn't help but think, this boy, abandoned and silenced, was about to show the world just how unstoppable he could be. Noah's obsession with patterns slowly became more than just a personal fix, it became a mission. He wanted to make something that actually helped people like him. His fingers flew over the keyboard for hours, every night after therapy. I'd peek in at midnight sometimes, coffee in hand, and swear he was talking to the laptop more than to me. But somehow, that boy who barely spoke was creating something brilliant. He wasn't flashy about it. No big announcements. No over-the-top ego. Just quiet focus, headphones tight, eyes scanning lines of code like he was reading a secret language. And, slowly, that secret language started forming an app, a tool for communication and tracking for autistic kids, something functional, Clean, elegant, and far ahead of its time. I tried to offer advice. Maybe we could tweak this, Noah, and he'd just shake his head, eyes glinting. No, Grandma. Trust me. And damn, he was right almost every single time. Fast forward a few years. 16-year-old Noah launched the app. And man, the response was insane. Schools were calling. Therapists were buzzing. Local news stations ran stories with headlines like Teen Genius creates $3.2 million app to help autistic kids. I watched the coverage, sitting in my old recliner, and I couldn't stop smiling. This was the same boy who used to rock in the corner, hands over ears, terrified of sounds. Now, he was a goddamn tech genius, shaking up the world without even trying to flex. And, true to form, he didn't brag. He just sat there, calm, quiet, eyes flicking to the screen, as if saying, "Yeah, I did that." 2 weeks later, the bell rang. The doorbell. I froze. My stomach dropped. And there she was, Lacey, standing on the porch like nothing had happened, lawyer in hand, documents stacked like bricks, trying to intimidate a 69-year-old grandma. She strolled in like she owned the place, smirking. "I've been involved this whole time," she said, voice slick, almost rehearsed. Documents in hand, forged custody papers, fake financial records, lists of visits that never happened. I panicked, hands trembling. Our lawyer scanned them, whispering under his breath, "If these hold up, we could be in trouble." Noah, as always, remained calm. Leaning back in his chair, he whispered softly to me, "Let her talk." I blinked. What? Let her talk. This kid, who used to barely speak a word, was telling me to sit back and watch. And that's exactly what we did. Lacey laid out her lies like she was performing in a courtroom drama. I've been fully involved. I've been managing visits, handling finances. Her words oozed false confidence. Noah didn't flinch. He just sat there, watching. I could feel his brain working. Every smirk, every pause, every lie, he was cataloging it all. He wasn't just a kid anymore. He was the calm eye of a storm she didn't even see coming. The lawyer kept glancing at me nervously. I felt the old fear creep in. But Noah, quiet, unshaken, was already playing 5 steps ahead in his mind. For 30 minutes, Lacey droned on, listing fake visits, fake conversations, even made-up school records. Every so often, she'd flash a confident smile like she was winning. Then Noah tapped the laptop on the coffee table. Just like that. Screen flickered to life. Detailed logs, coding timestamps, emails, screenshots, project notes, proof that he had done everything independently. Every claim she made? Debunked. Every lie? Exposed. Her smirk faltered. I swear, you could hear the confidence drain out of her like air leaving a balloon. Noah leaned back, hands folded, the quiet calm of a shark circling its prey. Our lawyer's eyes widened. This is rock-solid evidence, he said. Lacey's face went pale. She had walked in expecting to manipulate, to twist words, to use fear to control us. Instead,
she had walked straight into her own trap. Noah didn't need to yell, didn't need to scream, didn't need to fight. His evidence spoke louder than any courtroom theatrics. 11 years of abandonment, struggle, and patience condensed into a few folders and one laptop screen. Her lies? Worthless. Finally, Noah stood. Tall, calm, confident. She can talk all she wants, he said quietly, almost like a whisper that carried thunder. The truth is right here. He gestured to his laptop. I felt a wave of relief crash over me. The boy who once hid in corners, rocking, afraid of noise, had become a young man capable of defending himself, capable of defending us. Lacey didn't argue. She muttered something, grabbed her folder, and disappeared. Her manipulation had failed. Noah turned to me, eyes steady, and said softly, "It's over, Grandma." And just like that, all 11 years of struggle, all the nights I sat awake worrying, All the patience and love I poured into him. It had led to justice. Silent, calm, and completely deserved. The morning after Lacey vanished, the house felt different. Lighter. The air wasn't tense anymore. Noah sat at the kitchen table, laptop open, fingers flying over the keys, headphones tight as ever. But this time there was no fear, no anxiety, no ghosts of abandonment lurking in the corners. I poured myself coffee and watched him. The boy who once rocked in a corner, terrified of sound, was now a teenage genius shaping the world in ways I could never have imagined. Schools were calling, therapists were buzzing, and media outlets had featured him as a teen innovator. But Noah didn't let any of it change him. Calm, observant, humble. Every line of code he wrote carried not just brilliance, but resilience. Every symbol, every algorithm, a quiet middle finger to the world that doubted him. I knelt beside him, gently resting my hand on his shoulder. "You're amazing, you know that?" I said softly. He didn't look up. "I'm just building what matters," he replied, voice calm, deliberate, full of the certainty only a person who has survived abandonment could have. That day, I realized something profound. Life isn't about the people who leave you. It's about the ones who stay, who fight, who love you without condition. And in that love, Noah had found his power. As I watched him, I knew our journey was far from over. But we had survived, we had triumphed, and we had created a story that would outlast any lie, any betrayal. 11 years of struggle had given birth to something extraordinary. Justice, genius, and unshakable love. Noah smiled faintly at me, that quiet, knowing smile. "It's just the beginning, Grandma," he said. And I knew he was right. If Noah's story gave you chills, made your heart race, or reminded you that the strongest victories come from love, patience, and perseverance, then hit that subscribe button right now. Join our Mystery and Revenge family, where we uncover stories of resilience, betrayal, and shocking twists that prove life's most incredible chapters often start when you least expect them. Drop a comment and tell us where you're watching from, because we love hearing your story too. And remember, sometimes the truth doesn't just set you free, it gives you the power to take back everything that was ever taken from you. Smash that like, ring the bell, and buckle up, because with Mystery and Revenge, the next story could change the way you see the world.